Hello and welcome to Pretty Good Gaming. I'm Henry. I'm here with my boy, Mr. Gareth Evans.
My boy,
boy. That's M-A-B-O-I. My boy.
Boy.
We're going to have a little chat about Days Gone and how the reviewers seem to have kind of got it wrong.
Yeah, it seems like there is a lot of drivel surrounding this game. The review scores, I find, right out of the bat, right? Let's just get this on the table right now. I like this game. I'm not going to make any bones about it. We both like this game.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I definitely would say it is good. Stamp of approval, big red good.
Yeah, let's just get that onto the table, and we'll discuss what is and what isn't on the table, and what this game brings to the table in a little bit. But straight out the gate, we like this game. Impressions are solid. We've had maybe 10 hours each. On the game,
I'm
maybe a little less.
I'm probably about 4 or 5.
Yeah, so this is early impressions of the game.
Very, very early. The reviewers seem to have had like a bunch of problems. I mean, it currently sits at about a 72 on Metacritic, which isn't terrible, but it's not great. It's kind of a meh. And I definitely think it deserves higher than that.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of different problems. The first one that a lot of people mention, because it's a problem quite universally suffered in games these days, is like glitches and bugs and just problems like that, like technical issues.
Yeah.
And I really don't think it's all that bad, apart from one glaring thing. So I bought it last night and played it for a few hours last night and then a bit this morning. And so I installed it and I couldn't be bothered to wait for the update, so I just went straight in. And it ran fine. There was a few, texture-y things like popping or whatever. And then I had one crash, which was a bit of a bummer because it was like in the middle of a cutscene. Well, I think it was just between end of cutscene, go back to gameplay. That was pretty annoying. But then once it updated, I haven't seen anything like that. And I don't want to defend saying, oh, just finish your game afterwards. But to me personally, glitches and stuff, I'd rather that be the biggest problem because it's the easiest to fix.
That's true. I'm exactly the same. I'm playing on a PS4 Pro, by the way. You're on a PS4 standard.
Regular PS4.
Obviously, that crash happened for you in the vanilla on-disc version of the game, whereas I've been playing since day one on the patched version, plus I think it's up to patch 1.6 now as of yesterday, as of recording this. And the only bug or glitch that I've had is the lighting takes a while to like 5 seconds to load in on a load up of a save game. That is literally it. No bugs, no crashes, no nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously only played it for a certain amount of time, but to say that this game is full of bugs and the world is buggy and all that, I just don't see it. And the fact that they have supported it so quickly to be up to patch 1.6 like it is now, I don't know if that's a valid criticism at all, saying the game is buggy.
Yeah, I think it's harsh, and unfortunately it is something I've kind of come to accept is the case with modern video games. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish every game ran perfectly when it comes out, but I'm at the point where I'm not bitter about it anymore.
It's especially difficult in an open world game where there's so many variables, so many things in the world, and so many interacting kind of systems that could fuck each other up essentially. And
they're not like a company who are known for doing open worlds. Like if Rockstar run an open world, you're more than likely going to have a pretty smooth experience. But because this is Sony Ben's first open world game, they're going to have issues. And I'm a bit more forgiving on day one bugs than I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, and the day one bugs are irrelevant to people who are thinking about picking it up now because it's 1.6 already.
Because it's fixed.
What's the point criticising the game for the state it was in last week? Okay, it should have been ready at launch, but I think this game is in a reasonable state.
Yeah, for sure.
In my eyes.
And despite any bugs you are suffering, it does look incredible. Like visually, the graphics are amazing.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to our next point of contention: the open world itself.
Yeah, so it's been criticised for being generic. The word generic's been thrown around a lot, and as soon as I see that, I kind of tighten up a bit, I kind of shrivel, not because it's another generic open world, but more like it's generic is a generic word. I don't think it means anything anymore to a lot of people. It's
hypocritical to call something generic because you've just been generic yourself. Yeah, I get it. But in terms of the open world itself, I find it's one of the best looking open worlds I've played. I honestly really enjoy being in the world.
I think it's a really interesting environment because normally you're in like a city or something in Red Dead, you're in the Wild West, and that's quite unique in its own way. But I think this, because it's all like mountainy, it's all sort of miserable weather, it's like rainy, I just think it looks really, really nice.
I think it's amazing. I'm really enjoying my time inside it. And in terms of how generic it is, or how bland and boring it is, that some reviewers are saying, I don't find that at all. The way it works in terms of your random happenings, as it were, a question mark appears on your minimap, and it's up to you if you want to investigate or just leave it.
Yeah, they're only there for like a second or two and then they poof away.
Not like it happens in Red Dead Redemption 2 where the question mark stays there and you walk up to the question mark and it's like a random character or whatever. It just pops up, and it might be anything from just some wild deer to hunt to a group of marauders to a full-on horde of freakers. So it could be anything, which gives that sense of a little bit of, what could this be? A little bit of adventure, I guess. It's led to a couple of chance encounters where, let's say, there was one yesterday specifically where there was a group of marauders just like hanging around, and I was on top of a mountain, and I just picked up a sniper rifle. I was like, well, let's just try out this sniper rifle, and I've got 4 shots. There's 4 bad guys there, so I tagged them all. I think I took 4 of them out in 4 shots, so I did pretty well.
Nice.
And then another one appeared. I was like, shit, I'm gonna take him out. So I snuck up to the last one, and then just as I got up to him, I threw a rock to distract him, and I was going to take him out melee style, but he turned around and I had to assault rifle him in the face. What are you going to do? Out of the blue, point blank in the face. It was quite a satisfying little kind of deviation from doing my regular mission. It was just like, oh, I wonder if I can use my sniper rifle here. Oh, I can. Oh, this is fun. It was nice. It was a good experience. And in terms of how dangerous the open world is, you could be just driving around and happen across a big horde of freakers, and that's a scary moment when you're faced with all those bad guys. And if they knock you off your bike, which can happen, and it's happened to me half a dozen times, then you're in trouble. It's like they rugby tackle you off your bike, and it's, oh shit, how am I going to survive this? And it's like, really, really, really scary.
I think the key to zombie fiction is that 1 zombie's not a problem. You just shoot them in the head, they're dead. But then 2, then 3, then 4, and the more you get, and then they become a serious issue. And I was just driving around, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty low on fuel. I'll deviate from my route because I'm not going to make it. I don't have enough fuel, so I'll go a slightly different way, look for fuel over there. Ended up in a big mass grave with these freakers zombies everywhere, and I was just praying that I didn't run out of fuel because I didn't have anywhere near enough resources to take this lot on.
I've seen another point of contention to some of the reviews that I've read is that it's boring to go and find fuel, and I think that's the point. You've just illustrated the point of you being low on fuel, that you have to take these deviations and explore the world to find fuel in order to come across these little chance happenings that you normally wouldn't happen if you were just riding from A to B.
And I think that kind of thing comes down to just who you are as a person, because some people are going to get really frustrated and not like that you have to keep maintaining the fuel, whereas to me I think it adds an extra level of tension.
Oh, for sure.
And it's not like an annoying thing you constantly have to be checking a menu for. There's a little icon in the bottom that slowly goes down, and then it starts it changes yellow when it's okay, seriously, sort yourself out, and it pins in the map where your closest fuel is.
For my money, if you are a reviewer and you've got to get a review out for an open world game that you're not particularly enjoying, and then just trying to get from A to B to get to your mission, and then you've got to stop, you're running out of fuel. How annoying is that? But that's just if you're playing the game to get it finished to do a review. I can see why they could get frustrated that way. They're not playing the game right. That's my they're not playing the game to enjoy it and have a fun experience in the world, and that's where the fun comes from, is when you're just milling around in the open world, and you just letting these emergent gameplay moments happen.
And everyone who says it's a generic open world for the sense that it doesn't do enough new or it doesn't do anything groundbreaking, I'm like, so many games didn't do anything groundbreaking. I've said it before, Spider-Man PS4, excellent game. The open world isn't anything unique or special. We've been in New York before. We've done the fetch quests before. We've done these challenge towers before. But what makes Spider-Man great is the story and the web swinging and all that. And I haven't played enough of Days Gone to really comment on the story. But traveling the world on the bike, going through these gorgeous forests and mountains and rivers and all that, traveling the world is what makes it fun.
It is fun. It is fun. And this is one of the other grievances that I've got against the reviews, is it brings nothing new to the table. And like you said, there's so many games. Horizon Zero Dawn is the prime example. It just takes the best of a lot of the open worlds and mashes them together. You've got a lot of The Witcher in there. You've got a lot of a lot of inspiration. It's just in one package, right? And all some of its parts is a really good, solid game in everywhere. Now, comparing Days Gone to Horizon Zero Dawn in that way, all right, you might not see it, but I feel like Days Gone is more than the sum of its parts, and it's easy for reviewers to pick apart one specific thing that they don't like, or a number of things that they don't like. But if they're not seeing the big picture, not enjoying it for what it is as a whole, it's just easy to complain about it. And I find, obviously, I'm not going to sit and pretend that the game is revolution anyway. Obviously, you've got skinning animals like you do in Red Dead Redemption. You've got bullet time, you can slow down time and line up your shots in Red Dead Redemption like that. Hiding in long grass like you can do in Uncharted and Horizon
every
Dawn,
stealth game,
whatever. And the Ubisoft marking your enemies. Just a few examples of what it does take from other games. You know, the fact that people say it brings nothing new to the table, I think it's just such an easy criticism to make. And if you're going to do that, then, you know, just outline exactly in the way how it is like all the other games. Because for me, it does bring a few things to the table that not other games have done. Like the fact that the open world is filled with these hordes of zombies. Where else do you get that?
It was a constant part of the marketing that the world is out to get you. It's a really dangerous open world, and that I really get that impression, because in Horizon you'll be walking along and there are times when there's a big robot there that you know that's going to kill you, but most of the time you're pretty safe. In this, you can pretty much hear a freaker all the time. Within earshot of one, there's going to be two more, and a few more, and things can very quickly get out of control, and that's what puts you on edge.
Yeah, there's that tension of you have to do everything pretty quietly because if you're close enough to a horde that you haven't spotted and you fire your weapon or something, you could be overwhelmed so quickly, and there's only so much stamina that you've got to be able to run faster than them, and then you're in shit big time. And another thing that I find that this game has done really well is it's just a little thing. It's not groundbreaking, and maybe it's not something that's new to the table. Maybe other games have done it, but I find that the minimap is so helpful. The way that it's segmented and it shows you how close the enemy is to you, because it's you can tell by the minimap how far it is away and in which direction it is, which I think is a lovely little touch.
I kind of think of it like he can hear them, and then that's a visual manifestation of that for the player to see what he can sense and perceive of the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's just a couple of things there that I think that Days Gone does well, and majority of it is the open world itself. You know, the strongest point of the game for me is definitely the open world.
The game that this probably reminds me the most of is Avalanche's Mad Max game from a few years ago.
Yeah,
because that got pretty panned for similar reasons, for being completely generic, nothing special about it, but that had the vehicle as being your primary thing.
Yeah,
just like this has. And again, you can say they both have generic open worlds, but I had loads of fun playing the Mad Max game because I liked being in the wasteland in the desert. It was just cool to be in. It was a nice world to be in. And Days Gone is very much the same. You've got such an interesting world that no one's really done in this level of detail and probably this scale. And the bike, I love biker culture. I think it's awesome. I don't know anything about mechanics or anything like that. I just think bikes are cool. So having that as your primary vehicle, it's so cool because it gives you so much more of a connection with the bike than you do with your random horse you do in Red Dead. Because in Red Dead you can just buy any horse. You can just get any horse, whistle for yours, it'll come back. But this is your bike. You can ride other ones if you can knock people off them or whatever, but your bike is your bike.
Yeah, and it's a large part of how the progression works in the game. It's obviously you progress your character and you unlock new skills for yourself, but also the bike. Yeah. You buy upgrades for your bike and you get it back, because at the beginning of the game, you've got a ruined bike, and towards the end you're going to have it upgraded. And it's part of the journey Deacon goes through. His bike goes through it with him in a way.
Yeah. So some people have been complaining about the shooting in it, and it's not the best third-person shooting I've ever handled, but it's not terrible by any means. I've seen some people throw around that it's as awkward and annoying as the first three Uncharted's, which I think is way too harsh. Yeah. Because the shooting in those sucked, and then it only got good in 4, and a lot of people still didn't like it then.
Yeah. Well, where were these people criticising the shooting when Red Dead Redemption came out? Yeah. That's what I mean. The shooting Red Dead Redemption, it just isn't fun. I mean, the clunky controls. I like the game Red Dead Redemption. Don't throw me in the fight, pull me over the coals or whatever for raising criticism of that game. It's not perfect, right? It's a great game, but it's not perfect. And controls and the shooting are two of the biggest gripes that I've got with it. But in terms of Days Gone, I think some weapons are better than others. I found the automatic rifle to be very, very satisfying, whereas a single shot rifle is just not good at all. So I use the automatic rifle all the time. Yeah. But you do have the ability to slow time. But you've got a limited amount of that. So it's like bullet time, so you can line up your headshots, which are lethal in most cases. It's quite satisfying to do. And in terms of if you just shoot in the torso, 2 or 3 bullets in the enemy, it's fair. It seems like a fair, setup.
And I think the further along you go, you unlock better and better weapons, like proper military grade stuff. Because at the moment, you've kind of got cobbled together. It's got tape wrapped around it, holding it together.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, for people saying that they don't enjoy the combat, the luck. this game, there's so much more to combat than just shooting, because you've got traps, you've got distractions, decoys, you've got
like throwables and stuff.
You've got all sorts of ways, and you've got stealth as well.
Yeah.
There's a whole mix of tools at your disposal in that way. It's not an action shooter game, it's an action adventure game, right? So shooting is just a small part of it. It's not a Far Cry game, it's not like a open world shooter game like that. I find that it's quite satisfying. One of my best moments in the game so far is I was trying to retrieve something amidst a group of like freakers who were just milling around. So I threw a decoy to one side and they all kind of converged on it, and then I just pipe bombed it and they just all exploded, and I was like, wow, that was such a satisfying moment. And I'm enjoying the shooting, but I'm also enjoying exploring what other tools you've got in your
to creatively kill monsters.
If you go into this game thinking that the shooting is going to be bad or bland or whatever, you're going to be wrong. You're going to be surprised. The shooting is serviceable at the very least, and enjoyable in my I'm a mouse and keyboard player, and I'm enjoying the shooting in this game. I just don't see the criticism.
And it's not just a cover shooter either. Like you can use cover, but it's not a cover shooter in the same way something like Gears of War or even the Division is.
So let's talk about the gruff white male protagonist.
Oh no, not a gruff white male protagonist, Gosh.
Deacon St. John. Oh, such a boring name. Such a bad
cool
Deacon.
Name.
Such a horrible. Gosh.
Afraid I don't know
such
anyone
a
called
cringy
Deacon.
Name. Generic criticisms.
Exactly. Killing him.
I don't like the name. It's got to be bad game, right? Don't like the name of the current character. Don't like the look of the character. He's too gruff. Again, I don't think Deacon is boring. I think he's a badass.
And Sam Witwer, who's playing him, who you may remember from the Star Wars Force Unleashed games, this is way deeper. He's got so much like subtle personality, I think, because there's a bit very near the beginning where he's smashing some freaker's face in, and your mate Boozer, who's the big bald biker guy, he tells you to stop because you're going to break his shotgun, but it's because he's going too far and he's a bit like unhinged and there's something not quite right with him.
Yeah, and you balance that out with one of the flashbacks in the early part of the game. It's not a spoiler at all, but at the outset, at the outbreak of the freaker infestation, they're trying to get out of, escape essentially, and they come across one guy who's unhinged because his wife's dead. Deacon flanks him to take him out so that they can get through to get Sarah to safety because she's been hurt.
Injured,
he's flanked him. Instead of getting his gun out and just shooting the guy, he puts his hands up and tries to reason with him, and it shows a real personal side of him, right? And this is before all the shit went down, before he's smashing a freaker's face in because he's so angry, right? But lo and behold, a struggle ensues and he ends up having to shoot the guy, right? And he's visibly shaken by what he's had to do because obviously he's trying to save his friends and family, right? But he's had to kill a man point blank because he's just completely enraged and crazy, and you can see that in his face. You can see how much it's weighing on his soul to have to do something like that in order to escape, and that just shows character progression, right? Which is another one of the things that the game gets criticized for. There's no character progression. Aren't you watching these scenes? Aren't you seeing what we're seeing here?
And there was a bit I just had where you're in this camp or whatever, and someone sneaks up behind you and she's pointing a gun at you, and he's like, well, if you had bullets in it, you would have shot me. And I'm like, that's a cool line for starters. And then he turns around and is like, I don't kill women unless I have to or something. I'm like, well, that sounds like it's a bit of a wishy-washy line, but it's because of his wife and all that. Like that's the kind of underlying meaning behind it. So he ultimately lets her go because she's not a threat. And then your mate is on the radio to you like, your code's gonna get you killed someday, and he's like, I'm doing it.
And obviously people don't like Deacon for whatever reason. We really like him. He reminds me a lot of Joel. He talks to himself a lot, which is a human thing to do, right? Yeah,
I really like it, especially these big open world games. There's a lot of traveling and a lot of just you doing non-story based stuff. So then when he's walking along and it says he's running up a hill, he'll be panting and then say, oh, I'm so out of shape or something. And it makes you're playing as Deacon. It's not just, I'm me. And it's one of my biggest appraisals of Horizon was Aloy is the same. And I think it makes him so much more human and better, all round better.
It's just relatable, you can see the issues that they're having like in real time and they're talking to themselves. I mean, talking about that situation. There was one, thinking about the bugs and glitches, there's one kind of thing that kind of was a bit detracting from the gameplay. Was once I was talking to Booze on the radio and I was being stealthy and he was shouting. It was like, yeah, I'm just got this helicopter, and I'm stood next to a freak. I'm like, come on, just quiet down a little bit. I'm trying to be stealthy.
I did have that as well. And it's a bit like, oh,
bit
dude,
jarring.
Come on.
Yeah. No, it's not game breaking. It's just
it's one of those where
it's funny. Like,
it doesn't ruin the game, but would have been appreciated if that kind of stuff was cleaned up. So that's pretty much just what we think. We're pretty keen on it so far.
What I would suggest, if you're still thinking about what maybe should you pick up or shouldn't you, if you pick up this game, the game won't be surprising to you. You'll see it. You watch some gameplay, and you will know whether you're going to like this game. If you enjoy the setting, if you like the idea of being a biker and riding around, which is really enjoyable in a really awesome open world, which is tense and atmospheric, you will like this game. It is more than the sum of its parts. Don't listen to any review that criticizes it for very little specific niggles, because that's not what the game is, right? Any review under 6, I would just completely, from what I've read, just ignore them, right? And then just pick out the points that appeal to you. Yeah,
I think if you like open world games, a lot of people do. There's nothing wrong with liking open world games. It doesn't matter how generic that is to you. If you like open world games, it's still going to be fun. Like Call of Duty, super generic, but people love it.
Yeah.
Like people still buy it and they're really into it. If you like open worlds like, say, Assassin's Creed or the new Spider-Man, definitely give it a go, because it's more of what you like.
And don't be put off by the reviews, because they're full of shit.
Yeah, stupid, generic
reviewers.
Generic reviews, right?
Bring nothing new to the table, do they?
Nothing new. They're all using the same language.
Exactly.
If you want to help us create the content we've been making, head on over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. You'll get early access to our podcast, as well as the Discord channel where you can check out all those horrendous bad dad jokes. We'll be back on Friday. See you then. Bye from me.
Bye.
Bye.
Gotcha. Reload! Hey!
One more to go.